Welcome back to another episode of Eat, Meat, and Question Everything. Hello, you guys. It is a solo episode today. Gonna do a little bit of a life update and a recap of my 30 days dairy free, which, yeah, I learned a lot from that. Okay, so real quick, today is Friday, April 26th. It is actually my older kid's 6th birthday. Yay, I'm taking a quick little break from the festivities to record this. He's getting some Mario Nintendo time, so he's stoked. I actually leave tomorrow to go to the meat stock retreat. So I'm gonna be gone for 5 whole days. I'm looking forward to it. Gonna be hanging out with Kelly Hogan, Dr. Baker, Sally Norton, who else? Dr. Kill. It's like a bunch of people are going to be there. My friend Serena, who I talk to every day, she's like the only person I haven't met. Like I've met pretty much almost everybody else that's going there. So that's going to be really fun. The flight I'm not looking forward to. Fear of flying. So that will be fun. And there's a layover. So 2 takeoffs, 2 landings. Let's hope I can do this without having a mental breakdown. Yesterday was 3 years sober for me, which is wild to think about. I used to be a big drinker. I posted about it on Instagram and actually in a post on YouTube, a static post, just to like share a little bit more. But yeah, I was a big drinker. It was a thing we would go do. Like, oh, what do you want to go do? Well, let's go drink. So I made the decision 3 years ago, kind of on accident, to stop. I read This Naked Mind. It's a book. Actually, I listened to it. And I got the book in hopes to learn how to moderate my drinking. I had no plans of giving it up, and things just clicked. And I just took it one day at a time. Like I still miss it sometimes. You know, you think about the highlight reel and all the good times you had when you were drinking. You don't think about all the blackouts and the night in jail and a DUI. So yeah, so that's been interesting. So I'm proud of myself for that. I did it for me and my family. It is best for everybody around me that I am sober. Yesterday was supposed to be the final day of me not having dairy for this 30-day thing. I actually had dairy in the evening, but hear me out. Okay, I could have not had it, but I was getting the cake ready. I was going to assemble the cake today, but I was getting the cake ready. I was getting the whipped cream frosting made, getting the ice cream made for my kid's birthday today to make things easier. And I could have just made it and not tasted it, but I actually did monk fruit this time just so it would be a little sweet for my kids. And I wanted to taste it to make sure it was okay. I didn't want to have a garbage cake to serve him today. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about monk fruit. I am late to the party. When I was doing keto on and off for, gosh, 8, 9, 10 years ago now, I don't know if did they not have that then? I'm not sure. I remember there being like stevia, and I don't care for the aftertaste of stevia. Monk fruit is absolutely delicious. It tastes sweet. There's no aftertaste. Stay away from it. If you are a sugar addict like me, it's probably not a good thing to have. I will be enjoying a little bit of cake today, but after that, like I'm not buying it. I'm not going to have it part of my diet. I will say it didn't trigger like a binge or anything, so I am glad about that. But for me, I just need to stay away from those sweeteners, but holy moly, absolutely delicious. Okay, so the 30 days, no dairy. Well, I guess it would be 29 and a half days, no dairy. I learned a lot. There's a lot of self-awareness that happened. And remind me if I ever want to do these challenges again, like to not do it. I'm so over it. Like, I don't know why I do this to myself. You know, I've done BBBE and I did do dairy-free the whole time for 30 days. I did add in some chicken wings and salmon at one point. I did lion diet for 30 days, kept the dairy out, but had to add in other animals. So it's like there's, you know, what word am I looking for? There's a common thread with Courtney and challenges. They're hard for me to totally complete. So when I started out and why I was doing the 30 days of no dairy is because I was finding myself addicted to heavy cream. Now, in hindsight, I should have done 30 days of no heavy cream. I noticed I was turning to heavy cream to ease my stress. For me, you know, 2 years carnivore, it tastes sweet, and I would like spaz out, like feel stressed out, and I would reach for that bottle. So I exchanged the whiskey bottle for heavy cream. But yeah, I would just take a little swig, and it would taste so delicious. So giving that up, I noticed I was then looking to other things to fill that need. So then I was like finding myself like emotionally eating pork rinds. So For me, it's not so much the dairy. I can, do fine with recipes that have dairy in them. I mean, as much as I love cheese, it's like I can have a bite and be done, but something about the heavy cream just had that like hold over me. So I wanted to do a little reset to like get myself away from that. And it started out good. The first 10 days or so, I was like documenting what I ate every day. And I was, prioritizing beef, salmon, eggs. It was really good. And I lost a few pounds in those 10 days. And then I don't know what happened. Well, I kind of do. I got really hungry. Like this was when the eclipse was happening. So I don't know if we can blame it on that, but I was actually very hungry. And it was like the time in my cycle where I'm extra hungry anyway. So I was very hungry. I was also like very emotional and having probably like, I don't think I have bad PMS. I mean, I do kind of maybe get cranky here and there, but like this was like very difficult for me. And it was a wonky week. So with just genuinely being more hungry than normal, I was also, finding myself emotionally eating a little bit. So I had a couple weeks where I just blew past my macros. I was tracking every day, but I mean, they were like so far behind me. I mean, I was probably a minimum of like 2,000 calories for a good couple weeks. And that's a little too much for me. So the few pounds I lost in the beginning, I found them again and gained everything back. I will say that being carnivore in general has really helped with my emotional eating, and I actually haven't really struggled until these past few months. I really think it is stemming from stress and all my cookbook stuff and mom life and homeschool, like all that. And lately I've been turning to food to comfort myself and ease my stress. I realize when I'm wanting to turn to like pork rinds or cheese, I might not actually be hungry. Like if a piece of salmon or burger patties don't sound good, but I want to eat something else, that might not actually be true hunger. So I think for me, I'm going to, instead of just snacking on pork rinds, which I don't typically do, but if I'm going to have pork rinds, maybe like have a few with my meals so I can totally prioritize beef, salmon, and eggs. And it has been proven that dairy does have, effect on your brain, and it kicks up the dopamine, and, it can be addictive. So it's definitely something to pay attention to, but I've actually done quite well these 2 years on my emotions and how I was feeling, and incorporating dairy the entire time I've lost these 55 pounds. So while dairy, may cause some inflammation, I don't know, maybe that was, inflammation I lost in the beginning, but for me, it's not sustainable to like be dairy free the rest of my life. Like I've given up, sugar, alcohol, processed food, like all this, like I don't take my dairy, like at least give me something. I mean, spoken like a true addict, right? So my plan moving forward is just to pay a little bit more attention to my hunger cues, and when I am reaching for heavy cream, why am I doing that? What am I feeling? Try and get to like the root of my issues. And, I need to go back down the rabbit hole of like the EFT, like the tapping thing, that's supposed to help. Or when you feel like you want to binge, like shake it out. Like there's little things to help redirect you. And I also joined Dr. Lisa Wiedemann's group on the Mighty Network. It's a carb sober group. So I have that if I'm like feeling the need to like go eat my feelings on something, then I can check in with others who understand how I'm feeling. So this is my first official day where I'm allowed to have dairy again. And I'm glad I don't feel like I need to like go off the rails and have it. I have salmon in the air fryer right now. We're going out to dinner for Archer's birthday tonight, and I'm not sure what I'll have, but I don't feel the need to have dairy. I'm sure I will have it here and there, but so far, like I feel good. I feel like I don't feel like I need to go chug the heavy cream right now, but I did miss, having a glass of raw milk and this and that. So I just need to make sure it's actually the liquid dairy for me. I'm just realizing, because yes, even just regular milk, like it's something about the liquid dairy. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe I feel like I'm a very thirsty person, so I do drink a lot of water, but I think that's also like when I'm really thirsty, like a glass of milk just sounds so good. So just to recap the 30 days, I did not have a loss. I did at first, gained it all back, and I will never do this again. Maybe a reset if I need it from liquid dairy, but having some cheese on my burgers here and there, not an issue for me. I think for me is actually just sticking to my macros, and that's what I did in the first 10 days of no dairy, and then it just like went out the window. So I find when I focus on my macros and I can still have a little bit of dairy, I can still lose. And to me, it doesn't feel like as restrictive, taking the dairy away, then I'm replacing it with something else like the carnivore bars, like that became a crutch. Oh, and I added butter back in about halfway through the month because I was telling myself like, oh, that's like not my issue. It's heavy cream and it's so minimal. And it was fine. I mean, I maybe, have a tablespoon or two of butter a day in the form of taking a bite. I'm not eating sticks of butter, just to clear that up. I feel like, I love my butter munching, but I'm not having sticks of butter a day. So I'd be curious to know who else is experimenting with dairy free. Do you keep it out completely? Do you have issues moderating it? Let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments. If you're listening on your podcast, I wish you could, hop on Instagram and you can send me a message. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening. I love chatting with you guys. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, share, screenshot it, share to your stories, all the things. And I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time.